Okay, so we will be first solving this question. Okay, count of numbers smaller than six. So let me just explain you this question. This is an easy version, so that's why I was trying. I was aiming to solve this first because it will give you an idea of how to solve other questions as well. So this is an array. Okay, so let's say 5261. So for every element, let's say 2, you need to count all the elements which are smaller than himself in the right part of the array. So you need to do for every element. So if I just try run for 1, there are no elements to the right, so answer is 0. For 6, the element which is smaller than himself is 1, so answer is 1. For 2, answer is 1 because only one element is there. For 5, answer is 2 because 2 and 1 are there. So you need to return this array as the answer. So did you get the question? Yes? Neeraj, Harsh,
Yes,
some.
yes, Bhaiya.
Yes.
So any ideas on how would you come up with the solution? How would you do that? Any ideas? I'm giving you the hint. It will require the concept of PBDS. Okay, so this is the first question. Let me just walk you through the code, and you will get some familiarity with that. And then afterwards, and other future questions, uh, you can tell me like what is the solution. Cool.
Like I got brute force idea Bhaiya. Then I asked
Cool.
Nori Bhaiya. So he said this is you should do it according to PBDS.
Okay. Yeah. So today we'll be discussing that solution only, PBDS only. PBDS is a policy-based data structure. So, like as I told you, what did we discuss today? An ordered set, right? It is commonly known as PBDS only.
Okay,
So, PBDS full form is policy-based data structure, and ordered set is a policy-based data structure. Okay.
okay, okay.
Okay. So let me just tell you how this code works. Then, for the further questions, we can get suggestions from you. So yeah. So, okay, first few things before we need to start. So, these two directories have to be included. Okay, so this is a policy and this is a container. So, these all has directives have to be included if you want to use that policy based data structure ordered set. Okay, so first thing is that ordered set is equivalent to the PBDS which we will be solving. Okay, like PBDS is policy based data structure. It is short form acronym for that. And for namespace you have to also use this GNU PBDS namespace. Okay, now like this is the main part which I have been using. So what is this is this states that like many often like if you want to use a variable a and you have to assign it 10, so what do? You generally use an int value, right? Correct.
Correct.
Correct. If I tell you to name maybe store a name, let's say Ishan, my name only. If you want to store this, so what can you do? What you maybe use a string type.
Yes.
Correct. Yeah. So if I tell you to use this data structure, so for this data structure, the type which is used, it is this type because as I told you, it is stored in a tree data structure. So this is complex data structure. Like you don't need to go on to details on how this is working. Just I will show you what are the main parts here. So basically, if you do this, correct, and maybe declare a set, maybe declare a right, PBDS a, so it will declare you then ordered set. So I hope you got this part. Okay, so let me explore you this part only. So in this, like this is the first part which you want to have your container. So if you write this as int part, correct, then it will store you the values as int. If you change it to let's say pair of int comment, right? So in set you can store a pair of int comment, right? This is a set only, you can just need to modify this, adding to this line. Okay, now this part is, it is saying that whether it is in increasing order or whether it would be in decreasing order. If you write in less int, it would be an increasing order, otherwise it would be in decreasing order. So overall you need to have the information of these all functionalities only, because these this only you have to change, others you have to remain as constant. Like you don't need to interfere with other parts as well. Okay. So
Yes, sir.
yeah. So let me code you side by side. It will help you get idea. So what can you do if I just okay? So you got the idea, right? You have to use all these statements, right? Now, if I, as I told, if I name, let's say generally name a set as ST. So if I do a PBDS ST, it will define me an ordered set. Ordered set, ordered set is basically PBDS. Okay, and its name is ST. Okay, any doubts till now?
Nowhere.
Okay, okay. So now, what is the logic? Like, what can you do? So, as I told you, there exists the functionality of order of key, right? Order of key, and in this, what did it? What it returned you the number of. So, if you do a query of x, it will give you all the number of elements which are less than x in that data structure, correct? So, if uh, so let's say if the element in the set are initially 1 2 and 3, and if I query for 3, what if I do a order of key for a 3, what which answer, like what will you get in as output? Tell me.
We get 1, 2,
It gives you the number, okay, it does
1,
not give you the answer.
okay, okay. Then
Sorry.
2.
Correct, because two numbers are less than 3. Any doubts till now? Yes.
No, no, bhai.
Yeah, great. So any idea on how to solve this question, if you got this part till now?
So we can do that. First we reverse the nums. Then we can do
Okay.
that.
Okay, so if you reverse the nums becomes 1625. Then now what?
Then we are just like calculate the order set for 1, for 6, for 2.
Yes, yeah. So yeah, this is just an easy, but it would not be have that easy if it's an hard question lead code. So you got the idea, but you have to have some other things like, okay. So let me tell you on what case would it. So it would work on this, correct? It would work on this array, like for if you do a data, like if you, what you do for 1 it's 0, okay, you print 0 for 6, like now you inserted 1 in the set, right? Set was initially empty. Now you inserted 1 in the set, okay. Now for 6, correct, now for 6 you inserted 1 and you checked the order of, so it again printed 1, great. Now you inserted 6, now for 2 it says 1, so you
Give
inserted 2,
one.
it would come here, and for 5 it would be 2, correct, and you inserted 5. But what if I give you this array? Like it would work for this array, but what if I give you this array? uh, the array is 1 1, okay, 1 1 3. uh, yeah. So for 1 it would give 0, now inserted 1 in the set. Now for 1 it would give you 0, great, okay. Now since 1 was already there and you inserted 1, so only 1 would be there, correct? Like what do you do in a set? Basically, if in a set, if you insert 1 2 3, so set contains 1 2 3. Now if you insert a element 1, so 1 will obviously be overwritten, like only these all elements will be there in a set, correct or wrong?
Yeah, yeah. Duplicates are not present.
Yes. So in case of duplicates, now if you do a query of 3, right, if you do a query of 3, are you getting the point? Where would it go error?
Yeah,
It would
yeah.
still be
It will
1.
fail because
Hmm.
he store only one, but
Yes,
there are
correct,
three
correct.
ones.
Yeah, so that's why it was a little bit hard question. Like it involved PBDS plus handling duplicates. So you needed to be careful while doing so. So what can you optimize, or like how can you do? What can you change in the PBDS structure? Of what will you do to come up with the solution? Any ideas? So one more thing, maybe I hope I started the recording. Yeah. Any ideas? Harsh, Soumya, Ashish, Nitesh, Neeraj, Void,
Like we have
Ujjwal.
to count also the occurrence somewhere so that
Uh, but if you count, right? If you count, but for example, 1 3 1 2 3 1 2. Okay, this all is there. For let's say one. Okay, you're querying for let's say it is a five. Okay, now let's say you're querying for five and two is occurring two times, but you have to for this you have to only consider all the elements which are to the left of them. So for him, two would be considered only once. I hope you got like what I'm trying to say. Like if five would be here, then total counting is good enough. But did you get this?
yeah, yeah, got it.
Hmm. So just think of a little bit how can you do. Then I will give you some hint. Okay, so let me tell you this. So in a PBDS, if you want to do store duplicates, so what is the differentiating factor which you can consider? So for example, if the elements are 3, 3, 3, 3, 3 in the array, correct? Is this 3 equal to this 3 or not? Like, are you getting like what I'm trying to say? Like, is both
Differentiating
same
factor
or
may
not?
be the index.
Yeah, exactly. That's the thing which I wanted to get it from you. So the index is a differentiating factor. So if you consider the index, which is 0, 1, 2, 3, and maybe you can if you pair up the elements, right? If you pair up. Also, I also gave you a hint initially before that maybe you can change it to pair of it, right? I gave the hint, so maybe you could
Yeah,
have
yeah.
come up with that approach. So what you can do maybe you can now change this into pair of int and store this like 3 comma 0, 3 comma 1, 3 comma 2 in the pair format. Now this all would be differentiating, right?
Yes, yes.
Yeah, exactly. So what can you do? First thing is that change all this to pair of int comment, right? So change this into pair intent and change this to pair intent, correct? Yeah. So okay. Now once I did this and I declared the PBTS data section, now what can I do? I can just first find out what is the length of the array, which is number dot size. Then now I can iterate from the reverse order. And what can I do? I need to query for that particular index. So what can I do? I can do instead of order of key, right? Order of key would give what? It would give number of elements less than x, right? If I'm at that position. So if I do a number of nums at I, comma, okay, second factor we will think of what can it be there, but uh, this will be the syntax, right? I need to find the elements which are less than numbers, right? And I can just push back into an answer. And at the end I can just return the answer. So let me first declare the answer here itself. And while also when moving at the end I will also insert that. So while inserting I will insert the num set I and that index as a pair. So did you get this? Yes. Now the thing is that
Yes.
what will you place? So like in this question it was stated, so for example if the array is 1 comma 1 and you are querying for 1, the expected answer is 0. Okay, the expected answer is 0 for it. So that means that you don't need to include the element which is like if you uh, so basically you need to place this value carefully. So if you place a value, let's say a big value 1e9, or let's say, then it will consider this value as well. So to avoid that you place a negative 1 or maybe 0. Okay, so to avoid that value. So at the end now if you return that answer, let's now check it would. Okay, I think we need to reverse that answer as well. So reverse and what error was
Semicolon
there?
missing on the value, semicolon.
Yeah, 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 yeah. Thanks. Uh, okay, nums. It is nums. Okay, it works.
Why written -1? Can you explain me once? I
Yeah, sure, sure,
didn't
sure,
get.
sure, sure. So basically, the second parameter you had to decide says that. So, for example, if you consider this only, right? If you consider this array, now uh, if you consider asking for querying for this value one, so in the array it would be 1 comma 0 would already be present. Okay, correct.
Yeah,
So okay, let me show you by the test case only. Okay, -1 comma 1, right? Let me make it as 1 comma 1, and let me just do it for one test case only. Okay, now okay, let's do it both the ways. You will get the idea why it was not working. If we do a large value, right? So first intuition was doing placing a large value, correct? So if we do this, what is the expected output? Like you would get a 1 0, a 0 1 kind of thing. Yeah, 1 0 because you were reversing. So like expected answer for this was one. Sorry, it was 0, but you got a value of one. Why? Because like in array you stored in the set you stored 1 comma 0, right? Now when you were querying for 1, you told okay, in the set find the values which are less than 1 and having an index less than this 1 comma 1 9. So if you do this, it says yes, one element is there such that this condition is also satisfying, right? So that's why 1
yeah,
was there.
yeah.
But if you do -1, so it will obviously say okay, though element is also already less than -1 itself. Yeah, so if you do a -1, now maybe 0 would also work, but still -1 is better. So if you do a -1, I expected would be 0 0. Yeah.
Yes, yes,
Did
got
you
it.
get it? Okay, so like I hope this question helps to clear of what is a PBDS and how a PBDS works. Yes, and why, uh, where it is beneficial to for you to use. Correct? Yeah. Any doubts till now? Shubham, Harsh, Neeraj, Nitesh, Void. Yeah. So let me move forward. Let's